morning, good evening everybody, and welcome to the Town and Community Committee meeting this evening, Tuesday the 23rd of June. The first item on the agenda is election of chairman. Could I have a proposal for a chairman? Councillor Riceman. I can't hear you.
I'd like to propose Councillor Miller. Is that
okay? Thank you.
Okay.
Seconded. Councillor Lambert. Have any other nominations? Councillor Hamilton's moving. All in favour of Councillor Miller? That's carried. Congratulations, Councillor Miller.
Thank you very much. Right, moving on to item number 2, the election of the vice chairman. Do we have a nomination for vice chairman for Town and Community? Yes, Councillor Ireland.
I'll have Councillor Isaac, Chairman.
Thank you. And a seconder for that? Councillor Thomas. Thank you. All in favour? Super. Welcome back, Councillor Isaac.
Thank you.
Do we have any apologies for absence? Town Clerk, I don't think we do.
I've received no apologies, but I don't know whether the Town and Community Manager has at all.
No, I haven't.
Thank you. Any declarations of interest relating to the businesses to be transacted at this meeting? No. Okay. Public participation. Town Clerk, have we had anyone that's wants to ask any questions? No. Okay. Right. Item 6, minutes, which are attached to the agenda to approve the notes of the Town and Community update meeting that was held on Zoom on the 12th of May. And they are, I'm sure you've read through them. Does anybody want to say anything or ask any questions about that? Are we happy to approve?
No, I'd like to speak to them.
Yes, Councillor Hillier.
Yeah, I said this before, but I don't know what happened to the standing committee on the 12th of May. I don't know if it just wasn't put together in time, the agenda or something. And it seemed to follow there were various incarnations of the type of meeting to have. And the informal update version, which I was excluded from, which, you know, I am a member of Town and Community. And given the length of items in this minute, in these informal notes, I suggest it wasn't lack of content it was wanting for to be on as a standing committee. And I also think, because I was the councillor who raised the awareness on the state of the town, which prompted cleaning discussions, and the only business premises owner on the council, and as I say, a member of T&C, I may have been worthy of inclusion and I could certainly have provided input. So I'm disappointed this wasn't handled better. And that's all I've got to say on those notes. Thank you.
Thank you, Councillor Hillier. It was unfortunate that you were not on board this meeting, as I do value your input. And although there was quite a lot of discussions, there were no decisions that taken on that day, which is why there wasn't an official meeting. But I will try and are you on the Town and Council email yet, or?
No, but neither is somebody else who manages to get notifications. So, you know, I don't know why I'm not getting any note, but you should be a hard copy. I've asked for hard copies. You know, I'll come up and collect them from the town hall. It doesn't bother me. But just to see a hard copy, I mean, maybe when we've got the website up and running, it might make a difference. I don't know. But
currently, all the papers are being sent out in a hard copy.
For this, I didn't get any hard copy for this update.
The town clerk's got his hand up.
Yeah, sorry.
Thank you. Just to confirm, as it wasn't an official meeting of the committee, there were no hard papers to be sent out, i.e. there was no agenda to be sent out. All invitations are sent via councillors' official town council email addresses. Councillors have been given ample opportunity to take up IT support in order to be set up on those email addresses. Unfortunately, Councillor Hillier has decided not to take us up on those offers, but she was invited in the same way that all other councillors were invited.
I didn't get invited to the update. I know I didn't. I wasn't on it. So anyway, should we move on?
Thank you. Yeah, has anyone, Councillor Hamilton?
Yeah, we can go on and on about this, but I think it's an issue of transparency, and what we've got to do is work together to ensure that everyone gets the papers, everyone gets a hard copy, and everyone be invited to a Zoom call should they wish to come to it. And I'm not going to keep going on, but I was disappointed as well that that meeting was cancelled. I inputted as much as I could on the Zoom calls. There's a second Zoom call, we inputted on that. There were some confidential notes that came out of that Zoom call, and there's a third Zoom call this Thursday. So whilst we can go back over what's happened in the last couple of months, or we can go forward. And my view is we should go forward, work together, but please, let's have transparency and let's invite everyone on this committee to whatever meeting it might be.
Thank you, Councillor Hamilton. Councillor Arlott, did you?
Yeah, I think we're getting into politician speaks now rather than town council speaks. And as the town clerk said, everybody had the opportunity to go on the Henley Town Council website. Everybody knows my skills on IT, and I can manage to get it on my mobile phone, and I can get it on a tablet. You know, I know that may be a miracle to some people, but I can make it work. And just to play hardball on this and not take the address, the town council email address, I think you're just making it very, very difficult for yourself, anybody that's not on it. And I think I'd say if 14 people can go on it, maybe 15, we think Councillor Hamilton's on it now. I do feel you are in a minority, Councillor Hillier. The town council office manager sorted all mine out for me as easy as pie. You just need to contact her and she will do it for you. It was that simple. So I think we should drop that now for the time being, but I don't think we need any more conversations on this in the future.
No.
Thank you, Chairman.
Thank you. Are we all happy to approve the notes of that meeting? All in favour? Yep.
Agreed.
Councillor, yep, all in favour. Thank you. Okay, item 7 is the crime and safety report. Unfortunately, they couldn't actually be here, but they did submit a report, which I'm sure you've all read through. I don't know if anybody has any questions. What page is that?
Councillor Hamilton has his hand
Hasn't
up.
got a page.
Sorry, Hamilton, yeah.
Page 12.
Yeah, I've got it.
I too was hoping that the police could come to this meeting, or at least come to connect to it from a Zoom call from Abingdon. I just wanted, obviously the police are going through a most horrendous time given what's happened in Reading, and I'd just like for the mayor to write a letter to the police to offer our time and condolences to those that obviously have been through an horrendous act at the weekend, and let's hope they can come to the next meeting and give them the date, and hope they can give us an update at that point.
Thank you, Councillor Hamilton. Yes, Councillor Arlott.
Yeah, I hear what Councillor Hamilton said, but that was last Sunday. You know, we're talking these figures pre what happened last Sunday. I think it's last Sunday. My view on there's so much petty crime going on in this town, and we're not doing anything about it. And I think that's very sad. And I'm fed up listening to excuses, not just by the police, but by SODC, and all the excuses is COVID-19 all the time. That's the big excuse at the moment, and I do not believe it is an excuse. There's so much, say, petty crime, which it wouldn't take a lot to solve by a couple of police officers out there. And I think they probably know who the villains are. There's a very small minority that are causing a lot of problems out there, petty problems. And I think it's about time they did something about that. And unfortunately, no one's here to answer those kind of questions. I'm fed up of hearing they're too busy. And I hear they're too busy, but I never hear what they're too busy doing. Let me just, sorry, I spoke to a young PCSO the other day in the marketplace, and he was so helpful, it's unbelievable. But the problem is, one day he's here, the next day he's in Goring, the next day he's in Woodcote. He's probably only here 1 day a week, and that's the big problem. And as I say, a lot of this crime could be solved in no time at all if the police really wanted to. I think it's very sad the way we're being policed at the moment.
No, I absolutely agree with you. I don't know, Helen, is there, can we try and get somebody, do you think, to come to the next meeting? Is it?
They couldn't come because the two senior officers, one's on cells duty tonight in Abingdon, and it's one of Barb's days off. Yeah. So they weren't available to come. We can give them plenty of warning for the next meeting.
Yeah.
I can't promise that they'll be able to come, but I think that they would like to defend the position that Councillor Arlott has put together, because they are working quite hard to try to solve all the crime. So I'll try and get them to come.
Great, thanks, Helen. Yes, Councillor Hamilton.
I absolutely support the police and what they do. They're under pressure at the moment. They're having to deal with some horrendous things. So I don't take the view that Councillor Arlott does, that there's, they should be here every day solving petty crimes. But there definitely is a crime wave coming through Henley at the moment, of break-ins to cars, from burglaries and from other things that are happening in the town. And I'm picking it up on the COVID-19 group who say, oh, another car broken into. And that's the stuff we should be picking up on. What I would suggest is, given that the police have been through in the last week, and I appreciate these figures are previous to this last week, we offer them a time to have a Zoom call with councillors that wish to be on that Zoom call from this meeting in a confidential way, so that we can discuss with them some of the things that have been going on in the town in the last 3 months. And if that meeting could be set up by the town clerk in the next 4 weeks to fit with police scheduling.
Thank you, Councillor Hamilton. Councillor Reisman.
I'd just like to make a few points in response to what's been said. Firstly, this list of Henley incidents on page 12 of the agenda. While you can refer to these as petty crimes, these crimes are distressing for people who suffer them. They do matter, and we shouldn't just diminish them by listing them here and describing them as petty. They are important. Secondly, I mean, of course, they don't compare to what we saw last Sunday, and there's no comparison there. These are different officers carrying out different roles, and we do want to see these relatively small numbers of crimes investigated and solved. I deeply deplore Councillor Hamilton's description of a crime wave. There is not a crime wave in Henley. There are some incidents, they do need sorting out. There is not a crime wave in Henley, and Councillor Hamilton should be careful not to talk down Henley and not to spread scare stories, and he should withdraw that remark and avoid repeating it in future. It's not right.
I disagree.
No, I haven't finished yet. You should not describe what is a set of incidents as a crime wave when it isn't. It unnecessarily distresses people and worries them and leads them to be concerned about things which are not true, and you should not do that. Moving on to the issue of the police response, I do think that as we fund a PCSO, we are entitled to expect them to come and explain what they do and listen to the concerns that we have and follow them when policing our town. And so I do support the fact that we do call and arrange a meeting with a suitable officer to discuss the policing of the town, particularly as things reopen over the next few weeks and months.
Thank you, Councillor Reisman. Is there anybody else that would like to speak on that? Councillor Eggleton.
Yeah, it's you can hear me all right.
Yeah.
I do think the police are under pressure with quite a few things, but like Councillor Reisman said, that we do pay, and I've said to the mayor as well, that we do pay for a PCSO. So if we part fund a PCSO, we should have a little bit more, in our town. I don't know whether any other councils pay for or part fund or pay for a PCSO in their towns. That would be another thing to look into. But the thing is, the way crime works is if you keep talking about it, and when you've got, which you've probably got social media listening into what we're talking about now, and when it goes into the papers, and what Councillor Hamilton said, that does create panic and worry and everything else. But so you've got to be very careful when you're talking on a public thing where you've got public listening to things, because things can get misled. I think the police do a good job in based on their facilities and what they think, but we need to find out why this piece, why the part funded pieces who can't spend a little bit more time in Henley, being as we're part funded, and also find out if there is any other councillors that part fund a PCSO. The obviously the lack of policing, if you go to Reading where there's police walking around all the time, where you've got police walking around all the time or street wardens walking around all the time, which is another thing which I tried getting into the town, which work alongside the police, that also deters. Where you've got police in the town, it deters these shoplifters and things like that, and petty crimes and things like that. If they're in.
We've lost you, Councillor Eggleton.
On the things. If you haven't got police walking around on a regular basis, then yeah, you do open yourself up for to other stuff coming into this town, because it's like anything. If they know there's no police in the town, which I find that Henley is policed quite well in under the circumstances.
Thank you very much, Councillor Eggleton. Well, I think what we'll do is we will continue to try and get the police or somebody to come in and talk to us, whether it's here or whether it's in a confidential meeting. But I think we need to talk and to see what.
I think it needs to be confidential.
Okay. Thank you, Councillor Eggleton. Is there anything? Any other? Sorry, Councillor Isaac.
Yeah, I just wanted to add, if there is a meeting set up, I think it would be nice to give all councillors the opportunity maybe to email questions if they can't make the meeting.
Yeah, good idea. Yeah. Super. Okay then. So I think moving on to item 8 now, which is a report by Helen on the High Street recovery, which we all have on page 13. I don't know. Do you want to speak on this, Helen?
I'm sure that you have all read it. Rather than run through it all again, just highlight really, number 3, which is all of the different things that HTC has done to help to promote the High Street recovery, and all the measures that we've put into place to try to assist with their reopening. Feedback is good. Last Thursday was very quiet, but then we did have monsoon rain, so that often doesn't assist retail trade. Car parks have been between half and 3/4 full. Most of the people shopping have been spending money. We've only had a couple of instances of people who haven't wanted to practice social distancing or use hand sanitizer when they enter a retailer, which is very upsetting that still 1 or 2 people think it's okay not to. All of the posters and traffic boards, etc., are all up and running. The yellow traffic boards will be up soon. They've been on order with Blue Moose. They've just been waiting for some bits. So they'll be out soon. And then we also pulled together the action plan for Councillor Gavashak and for SODC, which will hopefully enable us to get a little bit of the government funding which was put available to aid the high street recovery. But we haven't heard back yet whether that's been successful in any way, shape or form. Then there were some other items which have arisen which need to be discussed further, which are under 3.2. So, so Sarah, I don't know if you want me to hand back to you at this point to just run through those. There are 2 other things which we just ought to note, which are that Henley Rotary have offered some boards, which we did discuss a while ago. The Rotary Club were going to do a distancing board, and then it was going to change the wording to stay alert. They're still quite willing to do these boards. They were offered to RNA for Parks, but Parks are trying to consolidate the signage that they've got. So I don't know whether it's something that you want to think about, whether we could utilise some of those signs in the town, whether they're banners or hard boards. But we've got a generous offer of their funding. We can choose the wording as long as they can have Henley Rotary on the bottom of them. And also there was something which was raised about changing the direction on Henley Bridge, which was one of the things which isn't down here. So Sarah, how do you want to do the next ones?
Well, I'll just run through 3.2, which is we had a long discussion with retailers about A-boards really in the town, and there was a suggestion that perhaps A-boards are removed to allow more space for social distancing, pedestrians, etc. Anyway, it was agreed that the retailers really don't want that, and I think we would like to relax the rules on the A-boards for people in Henley, but that they think about where they put the A-boards. We can't have A-boards in the middle of the pavements. I don't think we should have A-boards on narrow, very small, narrow pavements. I don't know how long we should relax this for. I don't know, Town Clerk, if this is something that we just sort of look into it month by month. But this was one thing that we looked at, because I think everybody at the moment now is, they want people to come in. We want to get visitors into town. We want to get shoppers in shops. And A-boards are a great way of promoting and advertising the retail units. Councillor Hamilton.
What you've got to be careful of is before you start, and Sheridan, you'll probably know the rules and regulations. There is a law about where you can put your A-boards on pavements, and what you've got to bear in mind, as well as you've got loads of more able-bodied people, if you keep changing it from different positions on different days, rather than sticking to a position and staying with that position, and basically you can't really, as a council, you can't agree to say to an individual shop and saying you can put your board there, because the law states that you can only put it in a certain place within so many meters or so many feet of your entrance, unless it's a wide bit of pavement where it's not liable to cause obstruction. But that is down to them. You couldn't really sort of turn around and say, oh, you could put it up here, because the council then would be liable. Where I was going with it is that like I said, you've got loads of able-bodied people, but if you keep moving them from one place to another, you have got partially sighted people that rely on certain things what are dotted around the town for them to get their directions. And if you keep moving them all over the place, someone's going to have an accident.
Okay. No, yeah, Councillor Hillier.
Yeah, I don't think the call was for relaxation, was it? It was more for status quo, because there was no discussion about moving anything. It was just saying, yeah, we want to keep our A boards. So I think we're just looking at keeping it as it is, and that's it. But I think relaxation might be the wrong emphasis.
Yeah. Councillor Arlott.
Just quickly, I've been around with the town ranger, I think 4 mornings last week, and what we did, we asked all the retailers to put their A boards next to either their shop front or the wall of their building. We moved quite a few ourselves. So that's what we've asked them to do. I know 1 or 2 of them put them back again, but I think, you know, as the town ranger goes out, she just keep asking to put them against their shop front or their wall, and it seemed to work fairly well. And once this is going to be relaxed to a metre, I think it's going to make a whole difference of shopping and, you know, one-way pavements or whatever. So I'm quite happy with the A boards. I don't think anybody's fallen over one yet.
No, I think what earth's that number? I think the A boards right now. I think we should allow, we should certainly keep them where they are and allow people to promote their businesses, their shops. I think anything at the moment to bring the people, you know, to bring footfall into the shops. So yeah, okay, moving on to B. We don't need to vote on A, do we? I mean, this was just a discussion, Town Clerk. Do we need to take this any further with the A boards? Or
you would only need to carry out a vote on A boards if there was going to be a binding change. As is voting to stay with the status quo, then no decision is required.
No decision. Okay, that's fine. 3.2b is something that is lots of people are talking about at the moment because it's been on social media. But this was an idea about trying to create more space in the marketplace to allow the stalls to spread out a bit more, to perhaps allow some of the eateries more space, but socially distanced space in the square. And the idea was to close the shop, the road from Jules to Facey, or possibly round the front half of the town hall to generate more space. Again, this is in the market report that Nikki will read out later. This would only be possibly once a month to trial it. I know lots of people are getting all flappy and thinking that it's going to be a nightmare and the traffic's going to be awful. But I would just like to say that, you know, if we don't try anything, then we're just going to, you know, nothing will move on, and we will just be the same old Henley. You know, that the high streets before the virus, the high streets were, you know, were dying, and I think we need to, as a town, whether it's closing roads or whatever, we need to start thinking a little bit outside the box at ways that we can facilitate the retailers, the restaurants, the pubs that don't have gardens, and, you know, make Henley a really exciting place to visit and have a centre, a heart of the town, which will be buzzing and exciting. And I can't see how it will I can't see how it will I don't see how it will hurt the retailers. I would never want to hurt the retailers, but I don't see how this would. The only issue I see would be the traffic, but it's once a month. Councillor Hamilton, you've got your hand up.
Yeah. Thank you. I will speak to this item, although we're not going to vote on it. I feel it's important to make a couple of points, and you've introduced this item. The reason why it's being talked about is because obviously you spoke to the Henley Standard and it was on the front page about a piazza. I just want the feedback I've been having from some of the retailers, some of the senior retailers in the town, and they're very open about this, that this council would be stupid to close the marketplace. Now, I hear what you say in terms of what you're talking about now is a trial for a day, a month, or whatever it might be. But as the mayor has said, he doesn't wish to close any of the arterial roads into and out of Henley. And whilst we have traffic going up White Hill on a Sunday morning at 12 o'clock, backing up to the top of the hill, we can't afford to close any roads in Henley. Now, we closed the marketplace rightly for Remembrance Sunday and for Christmas, for the party, and it does snarl up the traffic, but we do it for those two events, and that's right to do it for those two events, and I'm supportive of that, but I'm not supportive of shutting that road, because it will have a huge impact on all the residents between Grays Road, Gravel Hill, and right the way across that will be forced to move around the town. They'll have to go left as they come across the bridge. And if they go left and they come across the bridge, then the Reading Road will get snarled up and we'll just cause absolute carnage. So I really do not think we should be closing that road at any point for any event, apart from the two that we already do. I also make the last point. We shouldn't be making a piazza in the centre of Henley. We should be trying to support those retailers down the roads. So we should be looking at Friday Street and Reading Road and trying to push some of the footfall from the new development down into Hart Street, because that's where we should be putting the focus, not closing the marketplace, in my view.
In your view. Thank you. Councillor Lambert.
Yes, oh yes, you can hear me. I remember some years ago now when the bottom of Grays Road was closed between the junction with Reading Road and Duke Street and the Grays Road car park. And everybody predicted that it would be an absolute disaster in the mornings on Grays Road and the traffic would back way up. But when it actually happened, the traffic naturally redistributed itself. And I live on Grays Road and I actually found that it was, in fact, much better getting in and out of Henley for me than it was before. My point is that you don't actually know exactly what's going to happen until you try it. And I think there's no harm in trying these things every now and again. And it would be irresponsible of us as a council if we weren't open to new ideas and willing to try them out.
Thank you, Councillor Lambert. Does anybody else want to? Yes, Councillor Hillier.
Thank you, Chairman. Yeah, it did meet with a lot of opposition at the retail meeting, and given that we've got another one in 2 days, it's worth a more in-depth chat about it at that meeting, I think. I think you're in danger of making Henley marketplace centric again. I mean, there are lots of restaurants, pubs outside of the marketplace that actually have no outside space. I mean, I can think of a pub right on the marketplace that actually has got outside space. So they're very fortunate. But there's lots of restaurants, because they can't afford, well, they couldn't before COVID times, the rates or the landlord's rents, that have moved out. You know, you're looking at Hart Street, you're looking at Reading Road, Friday Street, Grays Road. And I think let's not concentrate on there. It's a natural gathering place anyway because of markets, etc. But equally, you know, then let's try and open one of the other roads instead and stretch it out a bit, all this goodwill for hospitality and retail.
Thank you, Councillor Hillier. Councillor Eggleton.
Yeah, I'm not in agreement with closing any roads off, because you only have to have an incident like we did, and then the town becomes, you have to have an incident in one road where there's an accident and you've got that road closed, and then the whole of the Henley comes to a gridlock. I believe that the marketplace works as it is, apart from what Councillor Hamilton was saying, that it's 3 events per year that those roads are closed. I don't think it needs to be closed anymore. As much as I support the retailers and everything else, is diverting people and having, with this one-way system, if we do this one-way system, hopefully we can push people past other people's shops, which don't normally get the footfall because they have to go through a one-way system. That hopefully that will then generate more business for the people that weren't normally getting it, but I'm not in favour of closing any roads.
Okay. Councillor Reisman. Ian,
on mute.
Oh. No, still can't hear you, I'm afraid.
They've lost their traffic control.
Are you plugged in?
He does he not know we can't hear him?
I don't
He's
know.
talking away. Can he hear us?
Helen, yeah? Have you got your hand up?
Yes, I have.
Headsets just don't work, do they?
Can I just say that I have got a note from Lawrence Menswear about the road closure, which everybody knows what Lawrence's view is, and he's shared by some of the other retailers. I'm just flagging that. That is the retailer view. That's, you know, it's not me going against anything. I've just had an email which I was asked to represent the retailers with, so I am doing so.
Thanks, Helen. Councillor Isaac.
Yeah, sorry, I think Councillor Lambert had his hand up before me.
Oh, sorry, Glenn.
Oh no, that's all right. I just want to make the very quick point that, you know, when we talk about closing a road to sort of, you know, pedestrianize a wider area, what we're doing is we're prioritizing people who are in the town, enjoying the town, spending money in the town over people driving through the town. I mean, that's what it boils down to, really. And I think it's okay to have that trade-off every now and again. Carry on, Councillor Isaac.
Thank you. No, I just wanted to reflect really quickly on Councillor Hamilton and Hilliard's points about retailers and hospitality outside of the town centre. Councillor Miller, correct me if I'm wrong, but was the original idea not to allow those businesses to have pop-ups in the marketplace as well as just the businesses
Oh,
around?
yeah.
That was just the point I wanted to make.
Thank you very much. No, I mean, I just think we would absolutely be crazy not to try it, not to trial it. It doesn't necessarily have to be a road closure all day. It could be from, say, when the market opens. Are we talking about market day? So when the market opens until, say, I don't know, 4 o'clock, you know, and it's just to test it. You know, everyone's throwing their toys out the pram. But, you know, this could be absolutely amazing. And I don't understand. I don't understand why we can't just try it. It really is. It could be really good. If it's not good, we'll revert back to normal, Henley. Yes, Councillor Eggleton.
I can refer you back to when they said, oh, we just try this traffic scheme. We just try this. We put a few bollard things in and we just try this pedestrian scheme. That was just a trial. And then, unfortunately, they turned the marketplace into a big marketplace, done away with all roads, made all the roads one-way systems. And that was just a trial.
Okay. Well, I don't want to go on too long about this. Councillor Hamilton, then Councillor Hillier. And then
Can I suggest that the feedback from the retailers was very clear. The feedback from the 3FM the other day was very clear. All right. Councillor Eggleton speaks absolute sense. And I suggest what we do is let's continue to talk about it. But, you know, let's get their feedback on Thursday. But at the moment, it would be bonkers. It would be daft to close the marketplace, in my view.
thank you. Can I just ask, sorry, very quickly, what was the feedback from 3FM?
The feedback at the 3FM meeting was that no, the marketplace was not, we should not be closing roads. What we should be doing is trying to get traffic to move quicker across the roads.
And how many people at 3FM have got shops in Henley?
Well, there's 38 people on the call. I'll go through it one by one and work out exactly who.
But how many of them actually have shops in the town?
Probably 50%, I would say.
Helen, how many have shops in the town?
Probably 50%, as I say. But you're welcome.
I don't know. I couldn't tell you who was on the call. So.
I think it's probably about 3 or 4, Will. Sorry.
No, there isn't.
Councillor Hillier.
Thank you, Chairman. Just say good points by Councillor Eggleton and trial traffic scheme. And I'd just like to say on the pop-ups, it's not practical for small businesses. We can't afford the extra staff to go and be manning a pop-up in the middle of when you're running your business in your shop as well. So that's why pop-ups don't work.
No, that's fair enough. I mean, you know, it's just ideas so that everyone's happy, you know. It can't all be retailer led. It's got, you know, we've all got to anyway, let's move on. Sorry, Councillor Thomas.
Sorry, just one point. I think over the last few months, we've all really enjoyed not having the cars in the centre of town. And now it's obviously going to be getting back to normal. And I do fear that, you know, because it really is, it's so polluted in Henley when it does go back to normal. And I would welcome having less traffic in town. I'd feel much more comfortable without the volume of traffic there was before. Perhaps what we could do is a campaign to, when you think locally, when you think locally, can you please leave your car at home if you are within a 1 mile radius of the town centre? You have got people who are doing very short journeys in Henley in their car, and it is not necessary. Please use your legs and your feet, and it's so much more enjoyable. And it's enjoyable for you having the walk and the time to yourself or with your family and friends, whoever you're walking in with. And it's much more a pleasurable experience being in town when there's less traffic around. I'm wondering if we can try and get that message out instead of doing, you know, doing anything else just for now.
Well, you could probably all get that if we shut that road, and, you know, the air would be cleaner, you know, it'll be quieter, everyone would be happy. But anyway, moving on. I don't think I've got anything more to say on that item. Councillor Eggleton, very quick, because I think
one more thing. It's either you want to help the retailers or do you want to close them all down. That's the actual reality of it all, really. Because if you
not
traffic coming in,
I don't think
you
should
stop
say
the
that.
traffic from coming into the town, you will kill the town.
Why on earth do you think I would suggest, or I would want to trial something like that if I thought it was going to kill the town that I've lived in all my life?
But that's what it will do.
Well, it won't. If I thought that for one moment, you know, it's trialing. It's one Thursday, you know, it's trialing something. If it doesn't work, it doesn't work. Sorry, Councillor Hamilton.
Can I suggest we move
Chairman,
on?
we've
Councillor
got-
Eggleton makes some very good points.
Point of order, please. We've got councillors speaking 4 or 5 times here. This is ridiculous. They should only be allowed to speak once.
No,
Can I suggest we move on, Councillor Miller?
trying to move on, yes. Has Dave gone? Okay. So I don't know. Again, can we make a decision on this, Town Clerk, or is this just for the, have I just been waffling on?
For a decision to be made, a motion needs to be put.
I propose we move on.
Because I would like to propose we try this.
No, but I propose we move on, which is a point of order. I propose we move on, and Councillor Arlott has seconded that.
I haven't spoken on this, Chairman.
This is
I really-
procedural. I have proposed we move on.
I'm not going to second it.
I'll second it to move on.
Thank you.
Okay. That is not the end of that discussion.
Oh
we-
no,
we-
we're
We
Chairman,
haven't voted on that
Chairman,
yet.
we take a vote. We can take a vote on this. You don't have to accept it. We take a vote now on moving forward.
Well, I
And
would like to take a vote.
If it fails, we carry on.
Thank you. I would like to vote. I would like to take a vote on this then. I would like to investigate a trial. Sorry.
Point of order. I have made a proposal that we take a vote, which is procedural, that we move on. You need to put that as the vote first, as the town clerk has his hands up.
Yeah, a motion has been put and seconded.
Okay. So what am I doing? Am I voting on that then?
Yes.
All in favour?
All in favour?
All against?
All against? Thank you.
There you go. It's up to you, Chairman. Off you go.
Thank you very much, Councillor Arlott. I would like to propose that we investigate further into the closing of the Marketplace Road, and to trial the closing of the Marketplace Road in the not too distant future. All those in favour?
Hold on. You need a seconder.
Okay, do you have a second?
I'd like to second that.
Thank you very much. And I will, it's a trial. All those
I would
in
like to
favour?
briefly speak, as I was tried to earlier, and I haven't spoken yet on this matter. I'd just like to say I completely support what Councillor Lambert and Councillor Miller have both been saying, which which is that you can't always tell what's going to happen with traffic until you try something. If you make an effort to experiment and it works, that's great. If it doesn't work, we have one day where there's perhaps some minor disruption, and then perhaps we can think again. But considering a creative and innovative idea as part of a whole range of plans makes obvious sense to me, and I can't understand why we're not, say, at least investigating the possibility of a trial.
Thank you very much. Nikki?
Can I just say, I have actually just preliminarily asked Oxford County Council how we would go about, I haven't asked them, just asking us if we go about the side road or the one in front of the town hall. So I've made a provisional inquiry. Just to let you know, I've made that inquiry. Nothing's been decided or anything, but I've made an inquiry.
Right, I've proposed. Councillor Reisman has seconded. All those in favour?
Hang on, recorded vote, please.
It's being recorded.
I'll ask for a
It's on
recorded
YouTube.
vote, please, and ask for your wording of the proposal.
I've just worded it. I would like to propose. Have I not just worded it?
Yes.
Town clerk, save us, please.
Because
I'll
I've just
ask for the
worded it,
wording.
and Councillor Reisman just seconded it. Should we move on?
No.
If the wording of the motion is unclear, then it can be restated.
Okay then. I've got to remember now what I've just said.
Thank you.
I would like to propose that we investigate closing the road from Jules to Facey, possibly once a month as a trial.
Yep, I'm happy to continue seconding that.
Thank you.
I'll ask for a recorded vote, please.
Yeah, have we got? We are recording this, aren't we?
Madam Chairman.
Yes.
A recorded vote means it's recorded in the minutes as to who voted in which way.
Oh, yeah. Okay. Sorry. Okay. So what have I got to do? Ask everyone to vote?
We just hold our hands up as normal, surely.
Yeah.
Yes, the voting is the same as normal.
Yeah. Okay. So I proposed. We've seconded. All those in favour? Thank you. That's carried.
Hold on. All
Is
those
it?
against?
I asked for a recorded vote. You haven't asked for who's against.
Sorry. Sorry. Who's against?
And can I ask where Councillor Eggleton is?
Just
It's not
walked
on the call.
I think you did. I think you did.
you walked out in anger. I will say it's disappointing to take that vote 2 days before the retailers meeting.
It's only an investigation.
Yeah.
It's totally against what all retailers, more than 50% do not want this.
Well, it's an investigation. Okay. Shall we, Councillor Arler, it's your hand up.
Yeah, well, if we're just talking numbers, the Henley Standard are doing a survey at the moment, and 2/3 are in favour of it.
Yeah.
Right, can we move on? Can we move on now, Chairman? Thank you.
Thank you very much. Okay, moving on to the markets update, and I think Nikki has a report which is included. I don't know if you want to run through it, Nikki, or should we just?
Has everybody read it?
Yeah, I have. Councillor Lambert.
Yeah, I knew we were moving on from the possible traffic in Marketplace, but we hadn't got to the possibility of making payments one way. I wanted to
hadn't
comment
finished
that I
the
didn't think
report.
that was necessary.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Given the dropping down to 1 metre plus, I think I'm quite capable, and most people are, of keeping that far in general without one-way streets.
Councillor Hamilton.
Yeah, I support what Councillor Lambert says. I think absolutely we don't need to do one way, and it wouldn't have worked in Henley because the fundamental why it worked in Marlow or worked an extent in Marlow is a street long. Henley's a crossroad, so you need to go backwards and forwards across it as you shop, and in what order you do. So that's why it wouldn't work in my view in Henley. So I propose we just note it and move on.
Okay, I just want to hear Councillor Isaac because she did put this forward.
Yeah, just really quickly, this was my suggestion, but given now that they will be imminently relaxing the rules to 1 metre, it might be worth just dropping this. It was while the 2 metre distance was still in
Right. Okay. Thank you, Helen.
Just the one thing which, if you want to give me some guidance, we can take out of this meeting and move forwards, is the Henley Rotary signs as well, that I just would like to have noted that they've offered them to the town council and they're willing to pay for them. So we need to just decide whether we want them and what we'd like them to say. If we can do that before the report is noted.
Okay. Wasn't
How do you want to move?
I can't remember. Oh, hang on. Yes. I don't know what to do about these signs.
Is this signs for the street, for the one way?
This is I think Stefan was looking into this. Town clerk, did you have your hand up?
Could I suggest it's an operational matter that doesn't that probably wouldn't require committee approval at this stage.
Okay. Yeah, thank you very much. Okay. So we're all happy to note the minutes of that. Oh, for God's sake, I'm moving on. Market update, town and community. Nikki, do you want to mention anything, or has anyone got any questions regarding the markets?
No, I mean, just to say, we are, every week it's a moving beast. We are checking the market every week to make sure people are set up okay, but obviously if things are relaxing slightly, it's going to be easier anyway. We're not allowing a full market to attend, so we've got people that aren't coming every week at the moment, obviously, to give us a bit more space. This week we will have what would have been the farmers market and attending us. We swapped the ends, so they will be down the bottom end of the marketplace. We've got fewer people attending. As you can read from the report, the lady that was running the farmers market has given up running it, mainly due to ill health. So we propose that we actually take it back in house and look after it for a while to see how it goes, see if we can improve it and make it run better and more efficiently.
So we're going to give it a trial period for 6 months then, I think. Yeah. That's what.
And sort of keep, so on the Thursday one, try and keep it as a food, the farmers market to be more food style, and on the Saturday ones, if the more crafty ones to come in.
Okay.
So, you know, so on the Thursday, it's just a few additional nice local food stalls, farmers, you know.
And can
like
I just ask, are they distancing themselves okay on market day? Are you
being policed? We're all there to police it.
Yeah.
I'm being there from sort of like 7:15 in the morning. I'm there, and just to make you aware, obviously there's an Extinction Rebellion protest meant to be happening this Thursday. I have made the market traders aware that this may be happening, just so they are aware if people start turning up. You know, obviously they have their license until 6 o'clock. That, you know, they shouldn't be bullied off the marketplace any time early or anything like that. But just to be aware if people turn up, what's going on.
Okay.
So
one thing I did notice on 2.9 of your report, all traders have with them a copy of their COVID risk assessment and are using and providing hand gel. Now it's got some are wearing gloves and masks. Are we able to enforce that, or to ask that they all please wear, you know?
It's not a government guideline. Everyone has to wear masks.
Okay.
They're out in the fresh air. They all have hand gel. They're all giving out hand gel. Some are wearing masks for it. Obviously they've got their own concerns, but it's not government guidelines that they have to wear. But they're all very, very clean. Some have even got, they're bringing bowls of hot water in flasks. So they've got bowls of hot water and soap that they're washing their hands with as well. I mean, the bread store totally separated. So one lady does money, doesn't touch any food whatsoever. The money is actually, she's got a bowl of Milton. Any coins come and go into a bowl of Milton. You know, the sterilising fluid you use for baby stuff. The coins just go straight into a bowl of Milton fluids before their hand, you know, before anything else is done with it. So they're all taking it very seriously.
Yeah, I thought so. Okay, that's lovely. Does anyone have any questions on Nikki's report? Thanks very much for that, Nikki. So it's recommended that we resolve to note the report and information therein. Are we all happy to note this? Yeah. Okay, super. Moving on. To receive and consider the management accounts and financial report, which is included in your pack on page 18. Does anybody want to say anything about the attached budget? Are we all okay for that? All in favour of this? All happy? Hands up. Thank you. Item 11, which is the progress report. which is starts on page 20. Northfield End is complete and looks fantastic. Thank you for all of that. And I think, are we going to now remove this from progress and hand it over to RNA, Helen? So
Yes. So Councillor Reisman was speaking to Axel about the PR surrounding it. So I've sent him an email just for clarification of that. And then we just need to put a recommendation on our minutes that it goes to RNA now, because they wanted to have this historic plaque put on it, which is RNA's area of expertise.
lovely. Okay. I'll let you go through this, Helen, as this is mostly your.
Yeah. So hopefully we'll get a meeting in July for town centre signage at the end of July. I haven't had time to do the brief yet. And as the mayor kindly suggested, we pushed back the last meeting that we had so that it gave more time to get this up and running when we were doing obviously the recovery for the high street and tourism, etc., which were obviously immediate things that needed to be done. And I just ran out of time to do that as well. Henley Housekeeping will draw a strategy up for the next meeting, which is on the 1st of September, about all of the potential new bins and other initiatives. Obviously the town clean was agreed at full council, and that is in the process of being organised as we speak.
Can I interrupt you, Helen? Sorry, Councillor Hilliard's got her hand up.
Thank you, Chairman. Just to say, Helen, in there, because it's the only place I think it'll fit, there's been an increase in random posters put on green furniture in the town. So if we can keep an eye on that and remove them as they come up, yeah.
Yeah, we have got some of our green posters on our green furniture at the moment, but we have, yeah, we have been keeping an eye. There are some, there are only 2 lots of posters out at the moment. And obviously we've got the town ranger out tomorrow and Nikki and I on Thursday in case the rebellion people put lots of posters up like they did before. And we are very aware of the green furniture, but we have put some of our green signs for distancing, which match our green furniture onto the green furniture, just as a one-off.
Yeah, that's acceptable, but it's random posters that
We'll go round and check. We'll go round and double check. Thank you. And then the other point was the repair cafe, because of the nature of what we're going through at the moment and the fact that a lot of the people who were volunteering to help are either shielding or isolating at the moment. We think that we really ought to put the repair cafe on hold until perhaps January, when the position of everybody is clearer. So it's something that, you know, we gained a lot of momentum for. We've got in place everything that we need, and we can start it whenever we decide that we can. But it would also give potentially time to get people trained in pat testing and other things which are on offer from Oxfordshire for free of charge. So we'll try and get everyone really ready to go with that. And then Nick, the other things are down to you. Do you want to?
The slipway, I'm just waiting for one final quote to come in, because we presumed that SSE would actually do the groundworks for moving the electrical box, but apparently they don't do that kind of thing anymore. You have to get that done separately. So I've got a quote from the electrician for the box and for the connector. I've got a quote from SSE to actually do the moving works, but there's the electrician's got a quote coming in for someone to do the actual digging of the trench and stuff like that. So as soon as that's in, we can get that in, so we know where we are with that one, and hopefully we can get that progressed as soon as possible. The litter bin by Jewson's SODC have actually come back to us now. Sorry, Will. Sorry.
Oh, sorry, Councillor Hamilton. Yeah.
Madam Chairman, I'd like to add an item regarding a slipway to 13.3 in confidential, and we can discuss that in confidential when we get to it, please.
I don't know. Yes, Helen, are we?
We're not going to discuss that at TNC. It's going to go to planning, Will.
Yeah.
The slipway is going to go to planning.
Fine.
Okay. Right, so the litter bin by Jewson's, yes, it should have been done by the end of March, but obviously because of COVID and everything, there's been a delay, but they've assured us it will be done as soon as possible. And Water Fountains, over to you, Sarah.
Yeah, well, Phillimore Fountain is ongoing. I've had all the paperwork from Helen, thank you, and I will, yeah, I'll crack on with that. Fingers crossed, but Super.
That's
Okay
brilliant.
then. Thank you. Moving on to item 11, where we say goodbye to the press. Do we just,
You have to read it out, Sarah.
sorry?
You have to read it out.
I know, I thought so, yeah. To consider that the public and the press be excluded from the remainder of the meeting in accordance with the Public Bodies Admission to Meetings Act 1960, as publicity would be prejudicial, I can never pronounce this,
Prejudicial.
prejudicial to the public interest by reason of confidential nature of the business to be transacted. So I think we say goodbye to the press if they're already out there, and
All in favour?
all in
Yeah.
favour. I was just going to say that.
Sorry.